A single wrong turn in 1914 changed the history of the entire world. The car carrying Archduke Franz Ferdinand was supposed to follow a planned route through Sarajevo. But the driver made a small mistake and turned onto a narrow side street. Standing right there was an assassin who believed he had failed earlier that day. Suddenly, the target was in front of him. The shots he fired didn't just kill a royal couple, they triggered a chain reaction that pushed Europe into World War I. Old empires collapsed, millions died, and global politics shifted in ways still felt today. One tiny mistake set the world on fire. A few decades later, in 1947, the Indian subcontinent was reshaped almost overnight. After nearly 2 centuries of rule, the British decided to leave, but the withdrawal was rushed, chaotic, and deeply unprepared. A new border was drawn in a matter of weeks, splitting India and Pakistan into separate nations. Families woke up to find their homes suddenly on the wrong side of a new country. One of the largest migrations in human history followed, with trains overflowing, roads packed with refugees, and massive violence erupting across regions. That hurried political decision created tensions that still dominate South Asian politics today. Just 15 years later, the world faced the closest moment to human extinction. The Cuban Missile Crisis in 1962 began when American intelligence discovered Soviet nuclear missiles secretly installed in Cuba, only a short flight from the United States. For 13 days, the world held its breath as the two superpowers prepared for possible nuclear war. A single miscommunication, a single wrong move, could have wiped out entire cities. At one point, a Soviet submarine was ready to fire a nuclear torpedo, but one officer refused to approve the launch. His decision helped prevent a global catastrophe. In the end, back-channel negotiations saved the world from destruction. In 1989, a completely unexpected announcement changed history again. A government spokesperson in East Germany misread instructions during a press conference and accidentally announced that citizens could cross the Berlin Wall freely. The message spread quickly, and thousands of people rushed to the checkpoints. Border guards, confused and unprepared, eventually opened the gates. That night, families reunited, people smashed pieces of the wall, and decades of division collapsed in a single wave of human celebration. The fall of the Berlin Wall became the moment that symbolized the end of the Cold War. Not long after, another political earthquake reshaped the planet. In 1991, the Soviet Union, one of the most powerful empires in history, collapsed without a major war or revolution. Economic problems, political pressure, and rising nationalism exploded at once. Almost instantly, 15 new independent countries appeared on the world map. Global power shifted, NATO expanded, and the world's nuclear arsenal was suddenly divided between different governments. Even today, many modern conflicts trace their roots back to the sudden and unexpected fall of the Soviet Union. In 2001, everything changed in a single morning. The 9/11 attacks shocked the world and led to immediate political consequences. Countries around the globe tightened security, introduced new surveillance systems, and increased military operations. The United States launched the War on Terror, which reshaped international relations for decades. Entire regions were transformed by new conflicts, alliances, and global strategies. Air travel, immigration, and national security changed forever because of one tragic day. In 2010, a single act of protest in Tunisia sparked a political chain reaction across multiple nations. After a street vendor faced injustice, his desperate protest ignited massive public anger. People across the Middle East and North Africa began demanding change. Governments fell, long-standing dictators lost power, and several countries descended into civil war. The Arab Spring reshaped politics in the region, with its effects, both positive and negative, still visible today. In 2016, the world witnessed one of the most unexpected political outcomes in modern history. The Brexit referendum in the United Kingdom shocked global markets and created years of political drama. Nearly every major prediction suggested that the UK would remain in the European Union, but voters chose a different path. Overnight, the economic and political future of Europe changed. The decision divided families, political parties, and the nation itself. Years of negotiations followed, and the long-term consequences of Brexit continue to unfold. In 2020, everything came to a stop. The COVID-19 pandemic spread across the world at a speed nobody was prepared for. Cities emptied, hospitals overflowed, and governments introduced emergency measures that changed daily life. Borders closed, travel stopped, schools and offices moved online, and global economies struggled. The pandemic also revealed weaknesses in health systems, political structures, and international cooperation. It accelerated technology, remote work, and digital transformation more quickly than any other event in recent history. And in 2022, global politics shifted again when the Russia-Ukraine war began. Countries that had stayed neutral for decades suddenly chose sides. Europe increased its military spending, NATO expanded, and global energy markets were disrupted. The war created massive humanitarian crises and intensified geopolitical tensions not seen since the Cold War. The conflict continues to shape global alliances.